Hi. In the last video, we understand how to install R and R Studio. In this video, we will discuss about different component of R Studio environment and how does it look like. Before going into details about R Studio, I would like to inform you that there is no difference in R and R Studio. In R Studio, the basic programming is done by R. RStudio only provides you an environment which is user interactive. It has many advantages over R. It includes console, syntax editing, arrangements of facilities, tools for plotting, workspace management, history, debugging. All these facilities are what RStudio provides. We'll learn about the details of RStudio. Before that, I'll be sharing screen of RStudio and show how RStudio looks like. So this is the screen of RStudio, uh, and this is how RStudio looks like. I hope the screen is appearing. I'm not very sure whether it is really appearing. Sorry for this, because something is struck. Uh, This is a problem in the system. Now the screen is appearing. So I'll switch off my video and we'll look at the screen. So our studio has many advantages. The first advantage with our studio is, I'll switch off the video, otherwise it will take a lot of space. The first advantage that RStudio has, it has a facility of file browsing or file choosing. Okay, you can choose. It's for if you want to do this through R, you have to write a command. So it has those linkages which helps you to browse or choose a file. It has also have a facility of viewing data or importing data. It has data wizard that helps you to import data either from computer or from any online resource. The third important advantage RStudio has, uh, it has facility of viewing data, so you can look at your data. Otherwise, you'll have to write command. Actually, simply double click on your data and you can actually see the content and structure of the data. It has the facility of prompting. If you're writing any command, it will actually it will prompt you and tell you what is the correct sequence of the command or correct syntax of the command. How do you put data into it, and what are the other arguments and options of the command. The next advantage of RStudio that offers over R is it has many key shortcuts, shortcut keys, keys, which helps you to write a command, or you can do many things in a faster mode. So these are some of the advantage that RScript offers to you. As we said in the last video, we discussed how to install RStudio. When you look at your RStudio first time, This is how your R Studio environment will look like. So time being, I'll just okay. So there was some issue with Zoom. So the first time if you would like to look at our studio, this is how your environment looks like. Uh, there are three key windows in the R script environment, and there are some buttons on the top. We will discuss about these buttons later on and other add-ins and projects in the later part. But currently we'll discuss about these three windows and related sub-windows in the R script environment. Each window has its own sub-window. For example, console and terminal is the sub-window for this. Environment history connection is sub-window for this, and there are other import data set. We'll discuss about it later on. Files, plot, package, help, viewer is a sub-window for this. So in this case, I'm about just for the easy identification, I'm giving name to these sub-windows. So this is known as console window, and it has a console and terminal two sub-windows. For the time being, we will not discuss about terminal. Console is the main window where we write command and execute our command. So console is the window where you write and execute your command in our script. Console is also it will show with the red color. I'm actually moving to the next line. We will discuss about this later on. Don't worry about it. Console is also an interaction between R script environment and R. So it is the window of interaction between R and R script environment. So this is very important window actually. In fact, this is, you can imagine this as R, and the rest is basically the environment. So this is very important part of the window. We'll move to the next. What we'll do in later part of the video, we will in the next videos, we'll be working with some commands in console, and we'll discuss how it works. So details about how console is working in what way console functions will be discussing in the later videos. The second window is the environment. I'm putting this as, I call this as workspace that has environment, history, and connections. Okay, there are three sub windows. The environment window is the one where you can see your data or functions. If the data or function is not appearing in the environment window, it means R is not able to read that particular data or a function. So it is a necessity of if you want to work with the data, it is very important that data has to be there actually. Environment window is also useful in terms of giving you understanding about what is the data, how does it look like, what are the structure and format of the data. So it's very useful window when you work with R. History is a window that will tell you all sorts of command that you have worked in R. So for whatever you are actually executing in R, it will show you this. For example, I have just written some lines in R. It has executed, though executed with error, but it has taken a note of this. Like I wrote console write and execute your R script, interaction between R and R script environment. This is what I wrote. So it is actually taking record of all this. So history is a sub window that takes a record of whatever you have written. I may have written something more actually, but this is how it works. Connection is a sub-window that actually establishes a connection between your PC to outside database from where you can actually extract data. So this is very useful if you want actually getting data from through internet and other resources. So this is the important window. So this is important workspace is the second important sub window, which has window which has three sub windows. The last window is basically browser window. I'll call this as browser window, and it has five sub windows: files, plots, packages, help, and view. Okay, so file is the sub window that actually shows what all kind of files you have in a particular directory, because when R will work, it will direct you to a particular directory. Currently, I guess it is actually directing me to a default directory. R may have a default, or I can specify any directory. So file is typically it will show you the content of the files, data, and other thing in that directory. Plot is the sub window. When you work in R, apply some appropriate command and create plot. This will appear. The created plot will appear in plot sub window. This is useful when we create an output. It has to be appear here. Package is a very specific thing in R. R works with functions and commands, and package is what it is, a kind of combination of number of functions and command. I'll discuss about detail about package in the later videos, but this is it contains the detail of what packages you have in your system. This package sub window contains that detail. Currently, if you look at my system, because I have installed this system long back, and in between I have actually taken many ready-made packages from internet, typically CRAN. Okay, so now I'll go back to the R interface again, and what we were discussing about package. So it has a record of this package. As I said, I have installed our system long back, our environment and our long back. So I had many number of such packages which I've taken from CRAN repository. Uh, so if you look at my list of packages, it's long list, and it is divided into two parts: system library and user defined library, user library. So system library is a base package. When you install your R, you will have some base packages. So whatever is there in my system library, the same base package you may have, depending on if you're actually having the same version. If you're taking a latest version, you may have even more number of packages actually. User defined library are all these packages I have loaded and taken from CRAN repository. The next sub window in the browser window is help. So help window is the window for the documentation, which tells about how do you work with a particular command and or a package. It gives a complete detail about documentation. For example, you have a command main, which is part of the base package. When you install R, this is already there in your system. It provides you a description about this function main. How do you work with this function? What are the different arguments you should provide? What kind of output you can get in the column of value? Okay, and then there are references, because someone has written these packages, so references are given and related commands, and how do you apply these commands. So example of this command. So this is what help contains. It provides you complete detail about how do we work with that command, how do we enter data or enter give information about different argument and options for that command. I'll discuss about this later on, but this is how help works. So this is all about the components of R. I'm sorry, I think I missed one more important component is editor window. So when you install your R and open your R first time, you will only have three windows. You have to call editor window. How do you call editor window? There is a file on the top. You click over file, then you have new file, click over new file, and you can take anything, but currently we're taking R script editor and we'll be working on R script editor. So you click over R script. So this will open up a editor window where you can write sequence of commands into it. What is R script? R script is actually a kind of editor file where you can write sequence of commands, because in console we can only work with one command at a time and then we have to run one by one. But in R script I can write number of command, can run them together actually. So if there are multiple operations that I have to do with a particular data, I can do that easily in R script. So this is very important part. At the same time, whatever I'm writing in R script, I can have a record what I've written. So it's a very good, useful window. This normally this window has another sub window. If I'm actually working with some data, I can view the data also here. So this is useful window. In next video or next part onward, next video onwards, we'll be writing command in console as well as in R script. So this is all about the components of our studio environment. In the next video, I'll discuss about how do we write basic commands using console and R script.